And welcome everybody. It's Mary Lynn Harris here of Hard at Work, and we're going to do a presentation. I'm going to do a presentation on about getting more customers and how to do some more marketing. It's really about building your list. That's really the key of the whole tricks of the thing. So I'm going to just going to share my screen and get on with my presentation. But thank you for joining us. We're so glad that you came on. Okay. Okay, so here we are. 5 big reasons why you're losing or not getting buyers. It's kind of funny. I was just gonna yesterday get prepared for today and make my talk, and then lo and behold, here I had this thing, and I just added to it. So it was kind of cool. So anyway, so why should you care? Well, basically, it's about if you have a decline of revenue or nobody's talking about you, nobody's giving you referrals to get more buyers, or your customers don't buy from you or they go somewhere else. Maybe your customers don't feel appreciated that, okay, I got a buyer, yay. And then you don't, stay in touch with them, or maybe you don't thank you, have a thank you note, or that type of thing. So and then the other idea is that you don't have a formal plan on how you're going to get customers and turn them into guests. So I call guests more customers. Then there's different ways of explaining this. You can have suspects, you can have interested parties, you can have people that are just not really sure what they want to do. And but you need a plan to help them, to turn them to guests. Guests comes from the hospitality sector. You keep advertising and haven't recouped your costs. And I think you still could advertise, but when you're not recouping anything out of it, whether it's a subscriber or you spend a lot of money, you have to stop and think, is it your ad copy, or is it maybe the wrong place to advertise? So you have to look at all of these things in consideration. Or maybe you spend too much time with the same customers, the people to try to buy from you, and they're still not buying. So maybe those are kind of customers that, really aren't your customers. So a decline of revenue is usually from either old or current customers aren't spending as much from you. Maybe they bought once, but they have never bought again. It may be people that have bought from you or twice bought from you, and they haven't come back again, and you can't figure out why. You haven't shared other products or services that you offer with them besides painting or your visual art, or whatever work you do. Maybe you have another service or something you can add on top of that, so it kind of balances those out. And 65% of the customers really leave because they don't feel appreciated. So and that's why nobody's talking about you. Whether they're fans, friends, customers, referral partners. Sometimes word of mouth doesn't always work. Sometimes as artists, we get scared about promoting another artist, or because we think that they're going to get the business, not you. But that's not the truth of it, but that's usually what happens. Clients aren't telling their friends or customers how wonderful you are. Why aren't they? Have you asked them to? Have you not asked them to? Maybe you need to reach out to them and ask them, like, hey, you bought this artwork from me, or ordered the service from me. How come? Can I ask you to share it with your friends or people? Because sometimes we're not asking, and some people may not know what to say, So anyway, so this goes into more about referrals. Sometimes referrals really help us, even if it's just one person wants to introduce us to somebody else. It doesn't take away from your work, because everybody will have a certain vibe or attraction factor that people want to buy from that person, or they like that person's energy, or they like that person's artwork, or their work type of work that they do, the quality of the work. So you're not losing anything by recommending or referring somebody to something else. And also referrals could be simply because you never asked for them. You never went back to your clients and said, hey, do you know of anybody else that you think that would be interested in my work? And then the big thing is you don't follow up. So there was a rule several years ago that said that something like 48% of people do not follow up with any their work or their messages that they've sent out. A lot of people just don't bother following up with people. Why? I don't know. Maybe you just got to schedule a day for that. One day is follow-up day. And then there's the other one where you haven't created a plan to get referrals. So that's the other thing. So you need to, but that's another thing I can offer. We can do another time for that. So why are your customers leaving or not coming back to you? Well, do you know why? Have you ever stopped to ask them? Maybe your customers think that you don't care. So that's why they, are leaving, or you haven't communicated with them at all. A friend of mine, she's in the craft business, and there was another guy who said he couldn't figure out why he wasn't getting his people on his list buying from him anymore, and he's very frustrated by that. So she said she subscribed to his list, and she went back to look of how often that he communicated with the people on his list, and the last time he communicated anything was like 3 or 4 months ago, and nobody's ever heard from him. So that's probably likely why they're not buying. So if you haven't communicated with them at all, then that's a good clue. Or maybe customer service sucks. I know there's this rule that the customer is always right, but there's people that want to come in. Can you check, please? I can't. Okay, I just added them. So anyway, so that's the thing that we have to stop and look at. How do I get rid of the screen? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of that screen. Anyway, so that's things that we'll talk about. And like I said, customer service sucks. Maybe somebody buys something from you, and maybe they have some questions. You've never gone back to answer the questions, or maybe they bought something and they were trying to return it. I don't know. You need a return policy or customer service policy. Okay, so of course, getting customers is really important because, without customers, it's hard to be in business. I used to say when my pie business, when I was open for that and I had to close during COVID, was if you don't have a kitchen, you're not in business. So it's kind of like the same thing. So anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay. So let's look at the worst case scenario. You don't have a formal plan and creating a plan to get customers. You have turnover, however, you don't know what to do about it or why it's happening. You haven't analyzed that, or maybe brought somebody in to help you look at it. Once again, you keep advertising and you recoup your costs, and you spend too much time getting customers, and just taking your customers for granted. Sometimes we do that. I mean, it's not intentional, but we sometimes get a list of people, and then all of a sudden you just haven't sent them anything for a while. Then, they tend to find something else to do or somewhere else to go. So we spend a lot of time getting customers, but quite often, if we just keep staying in touch with the ones we already have, then what will happen is you'll get more business, and just learning to appreciate them. So I would gather that most of you who have customers would like to change this into a more of a compelling business, so you have better customer care and a thriving thing. So my key thing is, and I've learned just this in the past, I've known this for a long time, I guess I would say, but I haven't done anything about it for a long time. And so the deal is that you really need an email list. And I know a lot of people say, oh, but I don't want to ask people to do this. And I says, if you don't have a list. And those are the people that will buy from you, will refer you, and you have to keep staying in touch with them. But it's time to grow your list. So there's lots of ways in which you can grow your lists. And why would you want a list? Well, you need a list to stay in touch with your subscribers, the people that want to buy from you, want to hear from you, know what is going on with you, what you're offering to them. And so that you can acquire more buyers and customers. Because it's amazing, if you know of an artist that does great work, and maybe you bought from them and you want to share them, you will take the time to share with them. You will take the time to offer a testimonial for them. You'll take the time to validate them and their artwork. So this is why you want a list. And you want to also help your buyers, your customers, to keep buying from you over and over again. So in order to promote and sell your art and your service and your products, you need a list. And so there's a saying that your list is where the money is, and that is the truth. So if you don't have a list, back to my story about my friend who has a craft business, she's just started building up her list. And from there, she's been able to build now a membership service for a particular craft, and that's the circuit machine that makes crafts. I don't know anything about it. I don't do that, but there's a lot of people out there that are making circuit crafts, just so they can, whether you do it for the business or not. But anyway, she makes products, she makes videos on them, and then she just shows people how to make them. She shows them how to use their machine, and from there, and she's got a list over, well over 5,000 people on her list. And she started about a year ago with Zippo. So from there, she's now been able to sell her books, sell her services, sell her classes, and now has got a membership site, which will now just have her money coming in every month that everybody's gonna pay her for the membership. And she offers a lot of content and a lot of valuable services, all regarding about how to use your Cricut machine, and videos and everything else. So that's, and she's making 6 figures with that. So that's why you need your list, to build up those customer base for yourself. So let's get started. So how you can get started building your list is you need an opt-in box on your website, so where you can send people to join and tell them what they'll learn from you, why you're doing this, especially people you don't know. You forget trying to sell to your friends, because your friends already know about your work and what you're doing. They may not be really truly interested in you yet until you get a little more famous. But in the meantime, ask your friends to share your stuff that you're doing. Just ask them to share. Don't ask them to buy. Don't ask anybody to buy. All you want to do is have people opt in on your website, invite people to join you, tell them what they're going to learn from you. So maybe you're going to share about your craft, how you do it. Maybe you'll have a video, about videos about how you work and what you do. Or maybe you can teach people how to clean their paintbrushes, or maybe you could show them, offer them a tip guide about how to, so in order to get their email address, you still need to offer something. Maybe it's a tip sheet. I've been doing this for a little bit, and I was offering an assessment, and people don't want assessments. They want something that'll help them. So to kind of stay away from that idea, just work on offering something that, like maybe a page, 10 tips of how to clean your brushes, or maybe it's 10 tips about something that your craft is about. Maybe what paints you need to have to make a mandala, or make it about your craft, but also you're not going to give everything away, obviously. But the idea is to have an opt-in on your website so you can invite people to join your newsletter. You can also grow your list by something like I just shared, share a bit about your craft. Maybe you could also create an ebook, no longer than 6 pages, and just give that away freely. And also, some people just do it on the PowerPoint presentation. Like for me, I have a Mac, so it might be Keynote, and you could just do 6 pages and then use that and just give that away about how things that they can do. And then, or, you can just do it on a Microsoft Sheet or whatever software you use. But anyway, so that'd be one thing you could do. And there's lots of apps and programs out there where you can use to create your PDF. I know some people use Canva, where they create their content and create their book, and then they just download it, and that type of thing. And then secondly, you can offer something bigger than the freebie, like price it from, you can all the way from $8.95 to $45, say, for example. That'd be your middle price point of something you want to offer bigger than the freebie, but enough that, them pulling $20, giving you $20 is not a big deal for them. So that'd be, so just offer this, your second product, if you will, if you want to call it that, is offer something bigger than the freebie. So whether it's a piece of art or a mini class, or teach your audience how to do your craft, or, so you have lots of stuff in your toolbox. You just have to think about, okay, what can I offer that is valuable enough that people want to buy it? You can even sell cards, or you could sell, your mini 5x7, mini things. You could sell them. Art, sell some art. So it doesn't have to be just sharing your talent verbally or written. It could be maybe your art pieces or something like that. Like all those big classes that, you come drink wine, and, you can create a class like that too for yourself, and just say, come and have a class with me. Bring your glass of wine, and we'll be on Zoom, or depends where you are located, what the rules are for being out in groups of people. But, maybe you can offer a class, and I'll teach you how to paint, or how to draw, or how to do this craft. Or you can do a video about it and share that. So there's lots of ideas that you can do to help build your list. The other thing that I've been doing for list building is I've been doing conferences. And then, of course, we're doing this for Art to help build his list. And that type of thing. So there's lots of different ways you could um, create a bigger list, but start there. Just, start small for when you're first starting. And then after you got your freebie and then you've got your mini price point, lower price point, then you can have your core product, which is your craft in bigger scale. And that would be your core product. Like I said, your artwork, your program, your workshop, or whatever, you can offer something a little bit bigger. But if you don't have a mailing list, then you need to start somewhere. So that's a good place to start. And even if you only have 100 people or 5 people on your mailing list now, start, adding them to a list and then start offering, what you want to offer to them, and start with those 2 things to get started. I know a lot of people, artists do good trade on Facebook. They sell their stuff on Facebook, but that's one at a time. You still want to develop that list so that you can offer more to them than just that product. Once in a while you do a painting. Oh, it's for sale. Okay, it's done. Then what? So you can only do so many one-ofs to build up your list, right? But it's good that you can do that, right? Because that's your goal. That's your goal, is to have them sell the big product, the big piece. So your goal, really, your homework right now starting today, starting tomorrow, when you get off this class today, is your goal is to get 1,000 subscribers. So when you get there, it's so much easier to sell to everybody else and to offer and promote what you have that you want to offer. So your goal is to get 1,000 subscribers. So you can do that by advertising your offer, your freebie, to get people to opt in. At this point in time, if you know how to do a landing page, that would be a good place to start. You can use a MailerLite or whoever's mailing service you have. They quite often have landing pages you can write up if you don't know how to do that. And of course, art can help you with getting a page or landing page together as well. So the goal is really just to get your 1,000 subscribers and just send them to that page, to them to opt in. And then you can tell them on that page what they're going to get and why they want to subscribe to your newsletter or event or whatever. And like I said, you can do a summit or a workshop, a one-day workshop like this event, and add people to your list. You can, like I said, I've been doing events, conferences, summits and stuff to build my lists. But then, I've also advertised. And so I've learned through my advertising that, Facebook isn't my audience, but more LinkedIn or other avenues are probably more people for what I'm doing now would work for me. But as an artist, you would know, like Instagram, probably a good place for you, or continue on working with Facebook. I know on Facebook, if you have a business page, you can put an opt-in box right there on your Facebook page and get people to start signing in directly from Facebook into your opt-in box. So there's those type of things. So most of the time, there are many things we can do. We need to move out of our own way of not doing the work. Unfortunately, there is work. Marketing doesn't happen without doing the work. So spend a day, pick a day in a week that are, how many, if you're not producing in your studio or whatever, pick 1 or 2 days that's all you're going to do is do marketing. That's the time where you're trying to build, either building your list or you're promoting yourself or whatever. I think I have a PDF from Neil Patel. I don't know if you ever watch him, but he has a great starter list, what you can do to get started, to start promoting yourself. So, but one of the things you need to do is really move out of your own way. Don't take everything personal. It's not about you. It's about your artwork and what are you doing to promote yourself. It reminds me of a situation many years ago. I was part of the Speakers Bureau, and one guy, he wasn't that good of a speaker. I mean, okay, he had great ideas and everything. He wasn't that good of a speaker, I didn't think. And yet there are so many other people that were such great speakers. But you know who got all the work? He did, because he was out there marketing and promoting himself. And all the really good speakers were too timid or too shy to promote themselves. So I was just like flabbergasted by that. But it's true, you know, the greasy wheel, the squeaky wheel, I guess, gets all the attention. So anyway, so there's things you need to do is this basically move out of your way, build up your self-esteem, whatever it is that you need to do. The other thing you could do is start meditating, even if it's just 10 minutes in the morning. Focus on, right now is a great time to focus on what you want and just go after it, and keep that at the top of your mind, what it is that you want. Keep that top mind. And then stop thinking that you can't do it. You can do it, but you have to decide that you're going to do it, because the mind plays a lot of tricks with us and tells us, our ego gets in our ways. Oh, you can't do that. And you have to stop and say, oh yeah, I can. You know, even if you have a conversation with yourself, you know, I talk to myself all the time. And if anybody hears me out loud, I'm just having a meeting with myself. So thinking you can do it. So, or saying, I tried that once, it didn't work. And I says, you know, marketing is all about tests, tests, tests. So it's not any one way or any straight way that it'll work. What I'm telling you today it'll work for you, but there might be many strategies or arms in the tree that will be different for you than the next person. But it's like saying, I was working with a restaurateur, and he was so negative. It was like, okay, how can I talk to him? I says, look, let's do this little mini event, create more people to come in the door. And he's, oh, I did that once. It didn't work. Well, okay, didn't work. And you know, I did that flyer once and it didn't work. I tried that once. I tried doing flyers one time and it didn't work. Well, yeah, but what did you learn from that experience? What didn't work? Think about what didn't work and try to correct it. And if it didn't work, so what? Just do it again, you know, kind of thing. So those are the things that we need to consider. And or people will say to me, well, I have a special craft and I don't want to give it away. So what? Not everybody has your specialty, your talent, your craft. You're not giving anything away. Everybody knows how you do something, but your gift is not meant to hoard. It's meant to give away. It's meant to share. It's meant to, you know, whether you're selling it or you're offering it or whatever you want, words you want to use. So, you know, share your craft. You know, the more you share, the more you're going to gain. Because no one can do what you do, even though that somebody else might do something similar. Because you're going to be, certain people are going to be attracted to you for how you do yours versus what somebody else does. So yeah, basically your gift is not to hoard, it's to share. So if you're hoarding or don't want to share anybody how I do my this or that, why not? They already know. They can look it up, they can Google it. If they really want to know, but they're not going to do that. They want to learn from you. So that's, you know, a lot of it's just a mindset. It's learning to say, I can do it. And if you don't know how to do it, reach out to people and say, how do I do this? I don't get it. So I'm open for Q&A, any questions, and I'll answer them. And then this afternoon, we're going to, what I would like to do is do an hour or so, and just if anybody has any questions, I'll just hot seat or do group coach with you this afternoon about any marketing questions you have. But in the meantime, if you have any questions about what I just spoke about? Nobody has any questions?
Do I have to mute everybody, Mary Lynn?
No, they can unmute themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I'd like to add in there is sometimes it takes more than once to try a system. You know,
Mhm.
I've ran into a lot of artists, well, they just try it once and they give up.
Yeah.
You know, where, I mean, the norm for advertising is 5 to 7 times it takes before someone will buy.
I have a comment to make. I have improvised. I'm an artist, but
Mhm.
I also do storytelling at the table. I love to cook, and I've had people, 40 people. We built a table for that,
Mhm.
and 40 people have come and shared their stories because people are dying to talk
Yeah.
and share, and it's outside. So I have improvised from my cooking classes to storytelling and inviting people to come. So it's been word of mouth like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly evolving into something else.
Mhm.
And also printing healing mandalas for people during COVID.
Mhm.
And so sometimes that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to put a price on it.
Yeah.
But I have to survive.
Yeah. So what I would do is, if you're open to feedback, I would put all those people that come to your dinners and everything else, put them all on an email list.
Perfect idea. I love that. I haven't done it.
You know, like you have different people that coming or sharing their stories, but they still want to know more about you, what you're offering, besides, you know, an opportunity for them to share their story.
Okay.
So I would encourage you to put everybody on a list.
Okay, that's perfect. I haven't done that. So thank you.
And we'll talk about pricing later, but
Okay.
yeah, that was part of my talk anyway. It's just about getting you guys just to start growing a list, building a list.
Okay.
Yes, Susan. You had your
I
hand up.
love Lakshmi's idea. What if you invited a bunch of artists to one of these fabulous dinners to tell stories and have them tell a story about a piece of artwork that they bring with them? And that way, everybody will learn about all these other artists. And what I've found is that artists buy other artists' work.
Mhm.
We are our best client,
Yes,
customer.
that's a brilliant idea. Really brilliant idea.
And I love the idea of mixing food, story, and art.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Invite me, please.
I cook Southern Indian vegetarian food, and it's storytelling of my grandmother, my mother, you know, passing on. And I didn't cook till I was 30. And so it kind of evolved through my art of storytelling. And I think this is a lovely idea. I've never thought. I've invited chefs to come and immigrant chefs come from Africa, other places. So they come and cook their food and share their story. I've done that, but I've never invited artists.
Yeah, do an art one because
Yeah.
oh boy, you will, I bet you will sell stuff. You'll get people on your list, and everybody that comes will connect and maybe sell their stuff. And the story behind the pieces is always
Yeah.
is special. So where do you live? I want to come.
Cincinnati, Ohio. Actually, I just put my website, radartist.com, and mine is like a blog that you can, whatever I've done since way back with Aboriginals, with all my journey. And I'm turning 70 here, 70 in October. So I've decided that I wanted to share my story, and it's there. And if you look at the table storytelling, and I painted my table turmeric color, and all the spices are on it, words are on it. I did it myself, and it's a great way to get people to come. and look at your art. But I like said, Marie said, I don't get them to come, and I don't tell them buy my work. I don't. But it's all over in my house. It's there. It's in the house, so they will take a look at it, and if they're interested. I paint on yoga mat. I've diversified. I paint on yoga mats. So because it's all the chakras and the energy, which is doing well too, but it's kind of stopped now because of COVID. But thank you for your idea. I love it.
You're welcome. And I do want to come, but
Please
that's a long way away.
You are so welcome, really.
Do it online so I can come.
That is something I've never done before. I've done videos of it, but I'm still learning the technique, because I know there are so many people who want to learn what I do. So I haven't done that. So I have to learn again. I push myself to learn. So thank you.
Yes, great, thank you. I had somebody comment about Neil Patel, and I do have his PDF, but I'll look for it and then get Art to, maybe he could send it out to you in the next email list that he sends out.
Oh, thank you. That would be helpful. I realized I just checked him, who he is on Google. I realized I have heard about him before. I mean, he's extremely active in marketing consulting in his own agency, et cetera, but.
Right. But he has a really good list. I was just reading it this morning. So when I find it again, I'll send it to Art and he can maybe send it out to you. Or
Thank you.
I'll post it in the file in the chat if I find it when somebody else is talking. But yeah, so if you're not talking, please mute yourself, because you know, that noise, you may not have that much noise behind you, but we can hear you anyway. Caroline, did you have a question?
Yeah, again, I'm sorry I missed the very beginning. I came in a couple of minutes after 9, but my work is behind me. I'm a fused glass artist, so don't do inexpensive. The stuff I'm doing is in the thousands of dollars.
Yes.
So I'm not interested in doing Etsy kind of stuff. I mean, that's not the focus that I have. And so I'm looking for, and I do have a background in B2B marketing. So, but I've never been in a position that I've built a list before for myself personally. I'm familiar with that in a business to business, US manufacturing kind of thing. So I'm trying to figure out what the best way for me to do this. I've been doing research. I've been talking with other artists in the field. I found the platform FASO, Fine Arts Online, FASO.com. They create websites for artists that have everything built in, and they do a lot of marketing webinars and stuff. So they seem to be an interesting option for fine artists. But I'm trying to figure out what the things you're talking about relate to someone who is doing, I'm trying to address audiences that are in the market for things at a much higher price point than
But
craft items.
Caroline, you still need a list. It doesn't matter
yeah.
if you have a core product or not, a big product. We all want to sell our big products, but how do we get people to want to buy our core products? And galleries aren't really happening as much as they used to be anymore. So we have to find more creative ways to get our craft.
Right. And they also take 50%.
Yeah. So if you
commission.
just hang in on the end of the day, and if you want to be hot seated this afternoon, just let me know that you would like to do that. But other than that, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a famous artist or if you're just a little guy or just started. You know, the thing that I've learned, and you know, even though I'm new in it, but I've never done it, is just start building your lists. I have lots of lists for everybody else, but you know, I don't have a big list. So so the key is you still need a list, and you have to start somewhere. So it's just something that you'll have to start thinking about. What can I do to build my list?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so if you can mute yourself, that'd be great. Thank you. So anybody else want to say something about, building a list or how you've done it or what other concerns you have about building your list? No? Okay. So it's 9:30, we're a little ahead of schedule, but that's okay. So Art, you want to go next? We had a couple other speakers that were supposed to speak, and what happened is one gal forgot all about it, and she was just going to create a video so that we could send it out. And then another guy was going to do a call with me, but he never did. So anyway, so we've just lost a couple of speakers. So but we're just going to run with the day anyway. So Art, would you like to go ahead and
Yeah, I got, what I did is I just created a video. If I can play that, would that be okay?
yeah, sure. You just hit the share
Okay.
screen.
So I hit, share screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if this is. Hold on a second here. Let's do this. Oh, that's not right, is it?
Yeah, I think that the idea about doing the 1,000 subscribers sounds overwhelming, but just make that as a goal. Well, what Art's figuring out how to share. So,
I'm not, I mean, I should be able to. I don't know what the problem is here.
so,
Are you co-host?
yeah, he is.
Yeah, then you should.
Caroline, can you stay muted? Thank you. Unless you have a question.
Yeah, why is it the, coming up full screen? I don't understand what.
Okay, well, you want to just talk about it then?
Well, actually, it's quite long. Um, will that work?
There's no sound.
No sound?
No.
Well, I'm gonna have to try this later. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Was that, are you recording?